Okay, you want to read books about fairies. I've pulled together some of my own personal favorites as well as a lot of recommendations that I got in the comments of that video, and I put together a full fairy guide for you. Books about fairies, but not 6'5" tall fairies with pointy ears and ripped abs. Of course, we have to start with the Folk of the Air series by Holly Black. For me, this is like the end all be all. These fairies are wicked. These fairies are scary, but they're beautiful and alluring. And if you didn't know, Holly Black has like an extended universe. So one of her first fairy series was Modern Fairy Tales, which I have not read, but this is another YA fairy fantasy series. Then there's the standalone, The Darkest Part of the Forest, which I have read twice. Honestly, I feel kind of meh about it. And then one of my all-time favorites, co-written with Tony DiTerlizzi, The Spiderwick Chronicles. This is a children's slash middle grade series. It's 5 books that you could probably read in one day. And this was my childhood. The reason I love these types of creatures is because of The Spiderwick Chronicles, okay? Also, love the movie. So if you didn't know, all of those books just mentioned take place in the same universe. There's also the Emily Wilde series, which a lot of commenters recommended and loved. I've read the first one. Personally, it wasn't for me, but these books, beloved. I've read a couple of books by Emily Lloyd Jones, including The Wild Huntress and The Bone Houses. She also has another one called The Drowned Woods. These are all inspired by Welsh mythology. I just read The Wild Huntress and it is fabulous. Half a Soul was brought up a ton. I think this is also a companion series. Haven't read these, but I know it's like Bridgerton, but fae. Sounds adorable. Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. This book is like as long as the Bible, so I have not read it, but I've also heard amazing things about this if you want to read a fae book that's a chunker. Leaning into the Pixie Hollow Tinkerbell type fairies, Wings of Starlight just came out, and of course I've already read it. If you're a Tinkerbell fan and you've seen Secret of the Wings, this is the backstory of Queen Clarion. And I do think even if you're not a Tinkerbell fan, you might still enjoy this if you like fairies. And Enchantment of Ravens is another fae book. Oh my Cat's got the zoomies, guys. I read this one in high school. It did not really make an impression on me, but I didn't hate it. The Wicked Lovely series was mentioned a ton. I think this is like an OG YA fantasy series. I haven't read it. I'm really interested in learning more about this, so I might pick this one up. Juliette Marillier was brought up a ton in my comments. Apparently she's written a lot of books with these types of fairies, these types of fae. I've had Daughter of the Forest on my TBR for a long time, so I have been meaning to check out this author, and there's just a lot of material here. And then we have The Call, which is a dystopian fae book set in like future Ireland. I remember this from the OG booktube days and I never read it, but hearing people talk about it a lot more, I am really interested, especially because I have a dystopian YA podcast. So dystopian and fae, hello, I need to read this. Let me know which of these that you've read, haven't read, and if I missed any to put on this list.